So today, really the subject is around childhood still, but slightly different slant. I talk quite extensively about difficult relationship with parents in childhood. And sometimes my clients come to me and say, oh no, I didn't have any difficulties in childhood and what have you. But as soon as we start to unpick the layers, there generally is an element of an issue around parents. But one of the other things that often comes out is bullying. And bullying is another issue that you can actually carry with you for a huge amount of time. I certainly did. So I was bullied at school. I mean, obviously there was teasing. Teasing's very different. Teasing with friends. Yes, sometimes when I was little I would get quite upset about that, but that wasn't bullying. That was just sort of standard childhood things. And possibly being an only child, I didn't have sort of those corners rounded off by siblings teasing me. So of course when friends did it, it felt a bit eek. But my worst bullying was definitely when we moved from Derbyshire to Sussex. I was 9 years old. I'd gone from a strict, good Catholic school. Obviously had grown up with those friends, been, at school since I was 4 years old. So 4 till 9, good relationships. Each year group only had one class, but the class was about 30 children. So it felt sort of, that there was a good mix of people there. And when I moved to Sussex, I went to a village school, and the village school was tiny. There were only, I think, 6 people in my year. So we had mixed classes. So we were taught with, I think probably children 2 years younger and a bit in between. But of course I came to Sussex with this Derbyshire accent. I was very, very, very thick northern at that particular time. Although yes, I know there are some northerners out there who say Derbyshire is not north, but it certainly was north of Sussex. So that was the first thing. They were like, oh, new kid, oh, difference, oh, let's bully. And the worst part of that for me wasn't just that it was the kids at school that bullied me, it was also their older siblings, which was really intimidating. And that went on for years and years and years. And the main issue that I really had around the bullying, I can't tell you what they said to me. I can't tell you what they saw. Obviously they teased about the accent, but I lost that. So there's very little sort of Derbyshire accent in me now, unless I go there and start talking to people, in which case it kind of does come back out again. But so my issue around bullying wasn't specifically what was being said, because I can't even tell you what they were saying now. My issue was very much around my parents. And looking back on it, I can see that they were trusting the school to take the right action, but the school didn't take any action. But, it was really frightening. Older children sort of following me home from school, taunting me and things like that. It was incredibly intimidating. And yes, of course I was affected by that. It really affected my self-confidence. My issue, which I'm not going to go into today because it's kind of a byproduct of that. My issue was around my parents' behaviours around me being bullied, and perhaps that's your situation too. But don't underestimate when you think about how your personality is now and the difficulties that you can sometimes have. Like, bullying is very much peer-to-peer. So the people who are your peers who are doing the bullying, you can really take that to heart, and that's really, really difficult. So if you are lacking in self-confidence, is there potentially an element that you are bringing through from your childhood, all of those elements of what was said to you at school, that I don't know, that you're thick or you're stupid or you get things wrong, or actually one of the things I was bullied about was being too clever, because when I went to that school I'd done all of the stages that they were doing and needed to have different books bought for me. So again, that was a thing that became, goody two shoes and all of this sort of thing. So what I would like you to do today, I'm obviously in a tiny live, I'm not going to be able to tell you how to unpick that, but I can help you do that if that's something you're interested in. I have got some slots coming up that I'm looking to fill. So if you are looking at working one-to-one with me, then do reach out, make contact. You can just direct message me and we can set up an appointment, just have a chat on Zoom and just get to know each other a little bit more. But have a think about, Are you lacking in self-confidence and self-esteem? And if you are, does that hark back to childhood? Does that hark back to what your bullies were saying to you when you were little? I'd be really interested to know. So if you do feel comfortable sharing, I know that some of the things we talk about, you don't always want to put yourself out there and say, yeah, actually this happened to me. But please trust that this is a really safe group. This is a really safe place to put it. And you know, the people outside of the group aren't going to be able to see it, and people within the group have probably had similar circumstances and are dying for somebody to start the conversation. So do, if you feel comfortable, share. If you'd like to work with me to work through some of these self-esteem and self-confidence issues, then I would love to have you now that I've got some slots coming up. So do make contact with me by direct message. Have an amazing weekend. I will chat to you all again next week. Much love, and I will see you soon. Bye.